What's up, Browns fans? Your boys are back in the building. Welcome to another episode of Brown and Orange Weekly. I'm your co-host Clarence Wilson, and with me always is my man, that dude, my guy, the Fritz, James Elfris. James, was shaking, man.
I don't know. I really don't know. How was your St. Patty's Day weekend? I mean, I got my Notre Dame hat on. It's about as Irish as I'm going to get today. Yeah, how was your weekend?
It was all right, man. I got some friends that own half the city of Bowling Green, so I go back every St. Patty's Day and bartend and act like I'm young again. And every St. Patty's Day, I come home and realize I'm not the same man I used to be when it comes to partying with the kids. So I'm at about, I'd say, 85% is where I'm at right now. Did a lot of drinking this weekend.
Uh, so you just got to get better at the load management, right?
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
pretty much where you're at that stage of your career in the
Well,
party
yeah,
scene and bartending scene.
yeah. It's after I did bartending for years, and when you're younger, you can drink Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and bounce back like nothing's wrong. Well, I did a little bit of drinking on Friday, and that was a little rough.
Uh,
Um, Saturday was I worked all day pretty much from noon to 7, then 9 to close. Sunday I planned to sleep, but didn't happen. So yeah, I'm just right now. I'm just trying to rehydrate.
keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop. You'll probably be good by Friday. Maybe you'll be caught up.
Maybe. There's been a lot of interesting Browns news. A lot of interesting Browns news. Let's jump in because I got to get your opinion on this because I'm not sure how I feel about this the extension that was announced today. Jerry Judy, I'm cool with the trade. I'm absolutely cool with the trade. It was a fifth and a sixth for to Denver for Jerry Judy, but today he got inked to a 3-year, um, at maximum $58 million extension. So um, I feel like that's a lot for a guy that comes in with a lot of flaws, should as we'll say. Hopefully we say the change of scenery will hopefully change up some things about him. I've heard a lot about the drops. I've heard some things about attitude, but if anywhere can get him to get right, I'd like to believe that it's here with the Browns. What's kind of your thoughts on the whole Judy situation?
Last week I was ready to let's start a song. Let's go some Beatles. Let's do some Hey Judy and try to rewrite some lyrics. And then, this week it's just, today, 3-year 58 million, but the 41 million guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
He's never even had 1,000-yard season.
Nope.
So I don't know how you justify giving that much guaranteed money to a guy that's so unproven yet.
Agreed.
I don't get it. Like, we love to talk Browns. We love to do our show. But then I think the key component is that we don't get to cover inside the building, right? So
Sure.
you want to trust the reports that are coming out. You want to trust the guys in the front office. Same way we talk about the Guardians front office and the way they can turn out pitching, that you want to be able to trust these guys in the front office that they're making the best possible decisions for the franchise going forward. And I get it. Judy's 24. So those 3 years are right in his prime, and he should be able to put up some great numbers, but that's 41 million guaranteed is a lot for should do well in his prime. And that,
Yeah.
I just, and with next year for Coop, I don't know that Coop's going to make it through the whole year. He just got back-to-back, 1,000-yard seasons, first time in Browns history, which really blew my mind too.
Mm-hmm.
You think he's going to, with that kind of money, he's got to be a number one next year, right?
You'd like to think, with the getting paid that much.
Yeah, Coop would just go ahead, young buck, go ahead, get all those targets. You know what I mean? Take some of the load off of him. Because you and I
Mm-hmm.
both talked about what the schedule is going to be like next year versus what we had, and it's going to be more difficult.
Yep.
And I'm just, I don't know. This has been this offseason something where I thought we would just kind of have signings and go, yeah, okay. Or maybe one that we really love, but you know, I'm not really on board with any of these where I have just total excitement.
I tend to agree. Judy is in theory he's what the Browns need. In theory, it's fast. Um, it can get downfield, which they haven't really had a game breaker since my guy Anthony Schwartz. But but he yeah. Um, they in theory he's what they need. But from what we've seen so far, I was okay with them just dealing for him and then letting the chips fall where they may. And, maybe doing a deal with him midway through the season if he does well, or wait until the off season. But this extension it's got me scratching my head a little bit. I'm not sure what the thought is. I'm sure in my mind at this point it's AB. So I'd like to think there's got to be some kind of decent out in this contract. I'd like to believe, but I mean 41 million guarantee. Ain't no out from that. So
right.
I don't know. Hopefully he is everything that he can be here, but I don't know about that extension. But one of the things I did hear all week is that Coop was one of his idols, so maybe playing with Coop is going to maybe get him right basically.
Well, and Coop's he's a veteran that does it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Great route runner, so he does have somebody that can really look up to as a professional, compared to what the environments he seemed to be dealing with in Denver, where he just kind of seemed like he was. Well, you heard him in the press conference. He's happy to be wanted.
Yeah.
And he's leaving an organization that's won Super Bowls. He's leaving an organization that had a Super Bowl winning quarterback last year, and a Super Bowl winning head coach in Sean Payton. So how did they not bring out the best in him, right? I mean, we had Steve Smith arguing with him on the sideline. What was that, pregame?
Yeah.
You go back and watch that video,
Mm-hmm.
talking shit with Judy, and to me that's not a positive.
Nah.
Not that you don't want to be chirping with Steve Smith when you need to be focusing on who you're going to play against that day. But so I don't know. There's just a lot of question marks yet to be proven. And to me, he got paid up front. Anytime I think about when you bring a receiver that's, for him, mildly a veteran, it takes me back to, and I know Moss was further in his career, but Randy Moss getting rescued from that pile of crap that the Raiders had that he was around when the Patriots we'll take him off your hands for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, almost had a perfect season there.
Yeah.
With the New England Patriots. And I don't know. I just don't have a lot of confidence.
I'm hoping we see more of the Randy Moss getting rescued from the Patriots than that type of scenario. Than getting rescued and getting rescued by the Patriots from the Raiders, as opposed to us rescuing Dwayne Bowe from Kansas City and how that went.
I actually forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, it was rough. That was rough. That man came here and just stole money.
Well, there was plenty of guys that did that.
True.
Including coaching staff. So
true. Old Mike Holmgren thought he was going to coach at some point. Stayed in the front office. He stole money as well.
Oh yeah.
So from Judy, we go to maybe one of the more, I guess, controversial. I shouldn't even call it controversial signings, but more eye-opening signings. The Browns did not go with fan favorite Joe Flacco and bring him back. Instead, went with famous Jameis, eating W's, Jameis Winston, and even in a more shocking move to me, I guess I shouldn't say more shocking, but I thought it was a little odd that they went after and they got Tyler Huntley as well. What were your thoughts on the quarterback signings instead of having Flacco bringing in these two guys?
Well, when Flacco signed after Winston and the money was basically the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then to me, it's about what the locker room was going to be like, which that had been reported for a while in ways that were said. I remember Jason Lloyd reported that, there's just no way that you're going to be able to bring him back because the fans will be turning on Deshaun as soon as he throws a few picks or a poor game and just can't play. And Joe had so much respect that he had gained from his teammates in that very short period of time because of his performance. And it was well deserved. He earned it. And so good luck to Flacco in Indy. I know he's signed with the Colts. I hope he has a good season there backing up and helping Richardson. But, I can tell you a little bit about famous Jameis. So for anybody out there listening that doesn't know, I know I have a Notre Dame hat on. I have love for Notre Dame based on my high school football coaches and the offenses and stuff we ran back in the day. But Florida State has been my team since the late 80s. And I went to see Jameis Winston play his freshman year at Pitt. It was not Memorial Day, Labor Day weekend. And I can remember sitting in the end zone, and it was near the second half, and he was rolling out to his left, and he threw kind of back against his, throwing back towards the right as he was rolling left. And where I was sitting, I was like, oh, that's going to get picked. And somehow he put enough on it that it got through for a touchdown. I'm like, holy cow. I was like, this kid might be legit. And that was the year they won the national championship. And he definitely, the things I can tell you about Jameis Winston, he will be vocal in that locker room.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a whole different style of leadership than what Joe Flacco, very, passive, very, I would say mild-mannered in his approach, where Jameis is all fire. He is all fire. He is all about bringing that team together. And if you go back and watch some of his speeches and stuff he had in the locker room at Florida State, you can see why they won the national title, and the team really did follow his lead from on the field standpoint. And so am I a fan of Jameis Winston? Mildly, I am. Yes, I'm thankful for that national title he brought, but as a professional, which one are you going to get, Clarence? Is he going to throw for 300, 3 touchdowns, and maybe just 1 pick? Or is he going to be out there and it's no touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and he's passed for 210 yards? So I just don't know. The one thing I will say before I want to hear your comments on it is I do feel he can throw a ball in a playoff game or in the wintertime in the cold down at that stadium. I do feel he can throw a ball through there, whereas Deshaun's arm, I'm a little more concerned.
I can understand that. I think we both think, in a perfect world, the only time we're going to see Jameis is during mop-up duty when we're blowing some team out. In a perfect world,
right?
But we've seen what's happened with Deshaun over his time. Right when we thought things were clicking, he got hurt last year. Obviously, he missed the 11 games due to the situation the previous year. So, I'm okay with Jameis. As Flacco took us on a great ride, there's no doubt about that. That ride was awesome. But I think in the 6 games he played, including the playoff game, he threw 10 picks. So, you do the math over a 17-game season.
Right.
So, is it a downgrade? Because, we know Jameis is going to throw picks, but he also throws a bunch of touchdowns too. So it might even be, I wouldn't call it a lateral move, because Jameis is a little bit younger, probably a little bit more mobile. But I'm
Not
perfectly
much.
fine with Jameson.
He's not. He's not nimble, man. I'm telling you.
Well,
I've seen him scramble and look terrible.
I remember he was scrambled a little bit back in college, but he seems like he's been eating everything, but so he's eating some things besides the W's that he was all talked
Well,
about
it's
eating
not.
all the
Hey, I'm saying even in college, he was not nimble, man. I'm telling you, he's got some heavy feet. When he tries to move, it's not necessarily a pretty thing. And I like you said, that perfect world, man. Deshaun starting all the games. I mean, can you imagine that? Can you
Yeah.
imagine that? But I think we learned our lesson because we were talking about how is PJ Walker and how was DTR the number 2 going into week 1?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
We asked
like the
that
kid.
question.
Yeah, definitely like the kid. But to be your 2, but then
Where's
again,
that leave him?
What's that?
Where do you think that leaves him now? Now that they went out and got not only Jameis, but they also signed Tyler Huntley. Where's that leave
Well, I mean,
DTR?
if he's that far down the depth chart, then the guys at the bottom should be pressing to make the squad. It should not be. You want the ones that really got to work to stay on the team to have to bust their ass, and he's going to have to. Is Deshaun? The question is with the 4 quarterbacks, and you're going to have 4 in camp anyways. But will Deshaun be ready by week 1? When I mean be ready, like no excuses, be ready. Like look really good, be ready. I mean that's a big question.
It literally is the biggest question this year, as it was the biggest question last offseason, because obviously Flacco took us on a ride, but we're looking at Deshaun to be the guy to take us where we want to go, which is that Super Bowl. Period. Point blank. I feel like when they spent all that capital on him, and with all the off-field stuff and everything going on, like you don't bring him in to just get you to the playoffs, or just get you maybe a first round win or something like that in the playoffs, Super Wild Card Weekend or Wild Card Weekend, whatever it may be, divisional. You bring in a guy like that and use that kind of capital on him with everything that surrounded him to win a Super Bowl. So that's what I'm expecting that in the next couple of years. We will see, but I'll put it like this: because they did bring in Jameis, do I feel like Jameis could have a Flacco type running him? It's possible. It's absolutely possible.
Yeah, I mean he can get hot, but
yeah, absolutely.
We all know about that turning back into a pumpkin.
Well, we saw it against the Texans, and it wasn't pretty. It was not pretty at all.
And I honestly think, we talked, with Deshaun, how important he is. And yes, he's a quarterback and absolutely has to play at a high level. We got to have it. Not with this schedule. Can't happen this year. We cannot repeat. Everybody take last season and just put it on the shelf because it's done. It's over with. You are not going to repeat what that was.
No.
So we're going to have elite play. But also, I think the biggest thing we need to figure out and mature, and maybe if we had a consultant in the building, like the hiring of Mike Vrabel, that maybe he's going to help coach our defense. And I know that's not going to be his position, but maybe he can help our defense understand why the hell we couldn't stop anybody on the road.
I'm good with the signing. I'm good with them bringing him in as a consultant. It seems like they're trying to fortify, not only the team on the field, but everything going on off the field with the coaching staff. But I also think, they get off to a slow start. They got two former head coaches in the building who, it might put Stefanski on the hot seat. I think he's got a little bit of time, but I also think, this is year 3 of the the Watson deal more or less. So they got to do something. And like you said, with that brutal schedule, they can't mess around. Cannot mess around.
And I don't think they are with, based on what they're bringing in at quarterback. I do like the Hicks signing for middle linebacker. Needing a captain, I think not having Anthony Walker did hurt us, being out there to be the captain of the defense, calling the plays. So that I'm hoping, that Hicks is really going to help lead that defense.
Yeah, I've read a little about him. I don't know. I've been, maybe it's just me, but I've been wanting that thumper linebacker pretty much since 2017 because I feel like, when our defensive line isn't playing quite as well and people are getting past the defensive line, where's our linebacker that's going to thump that dude? We got a lot of guys who can run and cover, but where's our thumper? I don't know if he's the guy, but I mean, we've seen it now for the last 5 years. The Browns don't. This iteration of the Browns front office doesn't really spend money on linebackers. It's just that way.
Value.
Yeah.
You're right. And can JOK repeat his season?
Mm-hmm.
I mean? I think he'll continue to play well in the Schwartz defense. I think we talked about in our last episode how they said they were still learning the defense. They were really getting deeper into the playbook, even into the end of the season. So to have another season under Coach Jim Schwartz, it's really going to benefit. So you don't not having that turnover. And I thought it was really nice that when Vrabel was the head coach of the Titans, that Jim Schwartz was brought in as a consultant there.
Mm-hmm.
And as Jim was dealing with some health issues, but still could be around football. And I thought it was pretty nice. And obviously it wasn't just Jim Schwartz's decision, but I'm sure he was all for it to be able to return that favor to Mike Vrabel, former Walsh Jesuit high school player and former Ohio State Buckeye. So it's good to have him back in Ohio, and I'll be really curious to see what his role is with this team because, like you talked about, Stefanski should be good, right? Did he get his extension yet?
Not quite yet.
No, I mean, 2-time coach of the year. Andrew Berry hasn't got one yet, so I'm sure there's certain signing points where they want to sign the guys, but there's just, man, this is going to be one heck of a season. This is almost one where I'd go, you know what? Let's have Hard Knocks this year. Let's take that on. I want some of this behind the scenes stuff.
It would be nice, but it'll never be Hugh and Haley and Greg Williams.
Oh, no.
That was the most entertaining shit I've ever seen. Sorry.
Yeah, but then we'd have something to compare it to, right?
Yeah, true. Dysfunction versus looks like
versus
function.
Playoffs coming off a playoff season.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's not for what all that we added so far this offseason. How much better do you think we got in the AFC North? Where are we at in the pecking order? Because we haven't talked about what the Steelers did with their quarterback situation yet.
Yes. So with the Steelers signing Russ and Fields, I don't know. I hate the Steelers, but I'm a big Tomlin fan. He basically took the iteration of our quarterbacks from 99 through 2017 last year, that between Rudolph, Pickett, and Trubisky, who's basically, like I said, those three guys are basically who we had from 99 through 17. And he took that team and went to the playoffs. So I think with a little bit more talented quarterback, such as, a Russell Wilson, although I'm not big on him, I think he might actually be washed, but we'll find out if it was just Sean Payton just hating, or
Hashtag that. Somebody get that trending.
or if Russ is really, really washed. But I feel like I'll put it this way: we went 11-6 last year, correct?
11, Yeah.
Yeah, and I know it's that extra game. It always throws me off, man. Um, but I feel like we
I
maintained.
know it's.
You said what? Oh, we might have lost James. It looks frozen.
I was just looking. Oh, I think it's because the playoff.
No.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
But
I
I
didn't
feel like
get
we
cut,
maintained.
did I?
I feel like
Kevin,
nah,
are you there?
nah.
Maybe I got cut.
Yeah, RFA. Um, but I feel like they maintained. I feel even with the tougher schedule, like again, I don't feel like there's too many excuses for them this year. I will jump into. I kind of want to get your thoughts on the Naheem Hines signing. Um, I thought it was a little bit interesting that they went with another guy who had a knee injury, a season-ending knee injury, to come in and spell our workhorse, our main guy, who might not be ready for week one. You know where I feel. You know who I want to see get the ball more. You know,
Pierre Strong.
yes, sir. That's who needs to get the ball more. So I would have been fine with them running with Strong. Um, why can't I think of our backup name now? Jerome Ford.
Ford.
Yeah, and then them maybe bringing in a fifth or sixth round rookie or something like that. Later on, I would have been fine with that because, like I said, I think Pierre Strong is the most explosive back on the team when Chubb is not there. So I would have liked to seen him get more touches, but obviously with them bringing in Hines, they've probably got some kind of role they have in mind for him.
As far as Strong goes, you see the burst there. The question is, can he find the hole, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to have enough carries to, we're talking about third string running back right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If we got to talk Pierre Strong next year a lot, and he, gets the opportunity to prove it, with more carries somewhere down the line with, a Ford for some reason, maybe he has the injury bug next year, but Chubb's around and then Pierre's your two, but I don't know. We'll see. It just seems like you saw when Flacco, what Kevin wanted to do when Flacco was out there. It's like, all right, you thought we threw a lot before. He couldn't get into his pass playbook fast enough to call more plays. So,
and I couldn't hate it because we were winning. I didn't really like it, but when you're winning, what can you say?
Winning's the ultimate deodorant, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I'm interested to see kind of, obviously we all want Chubb to be healthy and be ready to go, but if he's not week one, I don't know. I'd like to see Pierre Strong get more carries than Naheem Hines because it doesn't seem he hasn't got that many carries in the last few years as is, and he's coming off a knee injury. So,
well, and the signing of James Prochet, now for punt returns.
Mm-hmm.
There's two spots between the wide receiver spot and the running back spot with Hines.
Yeah.
It's going to be filled your special teamers. So I don't know, man. It's going to be tough. It's got to be best player available for the draft, doesn't it?
I was thinking about that the other day, and it's probably. But we know the Browns. We know we know. Like every time we think they're going to take a player, they trade back and recoup more assets. So, yeah, I guess that's the only thing it can be is best player available. I'm sure that they feel like they filled the void by getting Judy at wide receiver. They signed a few linebackers as well as we talked about. We didn't talk about Devin Bush, but hopefully he's a guy that can realize his potential. They went defensive line. They re-signed Zadarius. And not that this roster doesn't have a weakness, but it's hard. You're
Right.
right. It's hard to peg what they would take right now in the draft.
Yeah, like what guy could they draft and where could he come and start?
Mm-hmm. Fullback.
So that oh, no, we already signed the one guy that from Carolina. Hell, I can't remember his name. I couldn't believe we signed a fullback, but
Yeah.
I know he'll double as a tight end or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
when I saw even when I saw fullback, I'm like, whoa, wait. I mean, I like Lawrence Vickers back in the day, but I don't know that I want to go the route of going back to some of that old school football. Because all last year we were talking about, you and I were basically on the same page, was got to play AFC North physical football week in and week out. And we did that at home. So that to me was one of the best accomplishments for the entire season, was we finally regained our dominance at home field advantage. We had
Mm-hmm.
been missing that for so long. So at least we have that to kind of lean into for next year. And that's shout out to Browns fans coming in week in and week out and just being loud as hell and showing up and really supporting this team. And they deserved it. And they fed off that. And that was great. How do we do that on the road though next year? And if we do have the understanding and we do have the culture and we do have, I think, the commitment to the guys to each other, like when Joel Petonio talking about being the tightest group that he had been around since he's been on the team. That's such a positive. And as much as we talk about competing the AFC North, which we have to, I think we've learned we have to win the division next year.
Yes.
I don't know how we're going to do it. I think last year I felt more confident than I do sitting here right now looking into, 2024 football season. But, Baltimore did that, right? Baltimore won the division. Baltimore had home field. And Kansas City goes into their last two road playoff games, or I should say, the last two playoff games, both in Buffalo and both in Baltimore, and hadn't had to play a road playoff game during their previous success
Yep.
of going to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. So, and for them to go out and just get a couple road wins like that against two really good teams, there's a little something else there, Clarence, that I can't just say we need to beat the Ravens. We got to beat the Steelers. And now with Joe Burrow coming back and the two massive tackles that they now have on their team to help keep him upright and healthy. Damn, I don't know who I commented to this week, but I'm like, I do not want to go in that basement again. We lived in that basement. We owned that basement in the AFC North. There's no way in hell I want to get back in there.
If we end up back in the basement, things are going to get ugly in Berea. Things are going to get ugly. And if they come out to a slow start, it's going to get ugly fast in my mind. But again, I think they'll give Stefanski and the team a decent amount of wiggle room. But, I'm still trying to figure out, and it's not that I was a big fan of these coordinators, but again, kind of like we discussed before, they spent all last season crafting an offense to try and take advantage of Deshaun Watson's skill set. And now they're fired everybody and they're doing the same thing over again. And it's just kind of like, well, is that, are we going to have to worry about the rust or whatever? Because we're not going to be allowed, Brown fans ain't going to be allowed to say rust. Not after watching Flacco come off the couch and do his thing. So it's going to be wild. And you know what might even make it crazier? You heard the rumors. Carnival, we might be in Brazil for the opener.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. What time would the game be on? I don't want to miss it.
Yeah, I hear you. No, I'm sure there's no way we're going to miss week one. I think it's in our contract with Kevin that we cannot miss week one, no matter what time it is, what country it is. And I know we won't miss.
Can he get us 2 paid tickets to Brazil? Let's go.
I don't know. We might have to just send a DM to Anderson Varejao. Maybe he's got some room in his crib.
Let's
We'll
go.
go down and check out the game. That'd be a good time.
I'm all in for that. What do you think about that? Because I think earlier today there was a clip of Maurice Hurst kind of getting floated around, and he kind of said that, kind of intimated that the Browns are going to be opening in Brazil. And then he had to backtrack it and say, "Hey, I got no idea. I just from what I'd heard from everybody else and yada yada yada." What do you think about them? Possibly opening up in Brazil.
I think it's a unique opportunity, obviously, to be able to be the first game down there. It's good for the NFL, the growth of the league. From a Brown standpoint, if we win, it's going to be a great trip. If we lose against a revamped Philly team that could have went to the Super Bowl last year, but just faltered down the stretch, and it's going to be a hell of a Week 1 matchup. That's all I know. Because if you remember last year when they had that joint practice against Philly, that really was the first thing last year that piqued my attention of what we really had on defense was what the Eagles were saying about going against our defense in some of those in that during that time. And that had me excited. I was like, all right, I can't wait to see what this defensive line does. And sure enough, what a fantastic line we had last year. At home.
At home. Yeah, at home. Yeah, the defense has to travel this year. They've got to travel.
Yeah, and I hope that comes, with maturity, of the roster. Like I said, the Hicks signing is something I hope to see some leadership. And then, we still have the draft yet. So if we can get another solid linebacker there, I'd be happy. I still think, we talked about draft a little bit, I still think that wide receivers they're worth the shot, even though we have the worst track record of drafting wide receivers. Then you keep looking at Kansas City, even those little guys with all the speed. You see when they run, though, Clarence, they run with some aggression.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Elijah Moore, when we got him last year, and Rodgers was signing with the team, and the Jets like, hey, who do you want? Who do you need? Yeah, we don't need more. Okay. So they traded him. And he didn't look that much better with us. Now, with Joe Flacco, he did because he had a little bit of chemistry there. So Joe knew where to throw the ball to him to lead him on his pass routes. But
I don't think it helped. I don't think it helped the first part of the season. They were trying to use him like he was Tyreek Hill, and he ain't that guy. But I'll just be honest. Like Tyreek Hill has got world-class speed. Elijah's fast, but he ain't the cheetah.
no.
Those end arounds and all that stuff they were running him on. You know what? I'm tending to lean towards maybe wide receiver in the draft as well, because I believe Moore is on. This is the last year of his deal. So if nothing, if he doesn't play well enough, I guess, to get re-signed, I would say take a shot at a wide receiver. I guess depending on who's there, but like you said, our history drafting wide receivers since '99 has just been not good. This is to be frank, and especially since an AB has been in the front office. Can I say it's possibly been as bad as it's ever been?
Cedric Tillman's got to step up. The play that David Bell made, he had 2 touchdowns last year, right? I know, but it's one of those where it's a crapshoot again, where they think they see his college stats and they like what they see, and they bring him in, and we just can't develop. I don't know what the hell. Do we need to? I don't know. Stephon Diggs was rumored out there, and then after the Judy trade, then we had Keenan Allen going to the Bears for what he went for. You got what's going on? You think we could? I know Keenan Allen's much older, but he is also proven, and he told the Chargers he wasn't taking a pay cut.
Yep.
Based on what he did, but hell, when you got Justin Herbert throwing to you, your stats should be pretty good.
True, very true.
He's a hell of a quarterback. So,
I mean, hell, he's had Herbert, and then prior to him, Was it Phillip Rivers?
Yeah, I mean, so those are
So,
it pays to have a good quarterback,
yeah,
or
or
it just pays.
or have talent like Josh Gordon, and you can have Jason Campbell and those guys throwing to you and still rack up 1,400 yards in 14 games.
Oh my gosh.
uh, he might be the best wide receiver the Browns have had since '99, honestly. And he played one great year. Braylon had one great year and flamed out.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about how the hell they spent 2 second-round picks on Muhammad Massaquoi and who's the other dude? They picked two dudes in this. Oh, Robisky. You picked I think Brian Robisky. They picked two dudes in the second round, and I think both of them were out of the league within 3 years.
Yeah.
So
my poor cousin Grant bought the Massaquoi jersey, and I'm like, because he was number 11, and that was his number in high school, and like another one. So I'll tell you what, I have not, and I don't remember if we talked about this on the show. I have not bought a Browns jersey from a player since '99, other than one guy, and it's because I was there for the William Run game. Was William Green.
Okay.
Jersey before that was Andre Rison. Now, in between that, I will say that I picked up a Kozar throwback jersey. So, got to have the Bernie jersey. I'd like to have a dark brown Ozzy jersey. I think he gets lost in the shuffle a little bit, even though he's a Hall of Famer, he's in the Ring of Honor and all that. But I think everybody gets excited. We love the fact that our dogs still come back. Hopefully, we're gonna maybe hook up Friday and get to see Hanford Dixon, Minifield, Al Gross, Felix Wright down here in Massillon. So I want to check that out, hopefully in person, and get to meet those guys and talk to them a little bit and pick their brains to see what they think about this upcoming season.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. It's I haven't bought anything since '99. No jerseys. I think the last Browns jersey I bought was a Bernie from was Bernie, and this will tell you how long it's been since I bought a jersey. I got a Bernie, and I got an Eric Dickerson Colts jersey.
Oh wow!
Yeah, obviously.
Did you order those out of the JCPenney catalog?
Yeah. Nah, man. You know where I got them from? Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Nice.
When I was a kid, yeah. But since then, I'm not buying no jersey. I was gonna get a jersey that just said, like 68 and just had like fat lineman on the back of it or something like that, because that way you're safe. But yeah, no, I can't buy any player jerseys because I don't know. I'll wait till they retire. I'll stick to those guys.
Speaking, I want to bring it up since we're sitting here at Clarence and we want to thank everybody that's tuned in. We got 119 live viewers, so we appreciate you tuning in.
Thank you.
Jump in the chat, but I wanted to piggyback off Pro Football Hall of Fame because I did volunteer there for a little bit. In the past, anybody that is local that wants to volunteer at the Hall of Fame, you can volunteer and only 3 hours a month. 3 hours a month, so one shift of 3 hours at the hall, and you also get 40% off at the museum store as a Hall of Fame volunteer.
What?
So kind of keep that in mind. Anybody that's in the area they're always looking for volunteers, especially for Hall of Fame weekend. But yeah, even during this off season now, anybody and there's a lot going on down there. Anybody that hasn't driven down to Canton, go look at all the construction and stuff that's going around the Hall of Fame Village. There's a lot more to do down there if you haven't been there for a while. So go check out Pro Football Hall of Fame here in Canton.
Absolutely. Well, we're about our mark. Is there anything else you want to cover? Anything you want to tell the people?
Oh man, I just appreciate it. I mean, we're at 120 viewers right now. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
We love to continue to add to the show. We're streaming across all the different platforms. You can see on the bottom, we got a new banner up there. It says smash that like button. So if you're watching on YouTube or watching on any of these platforms, please show us some love. Shout us out. We want more people to jump in the chat. We want this to be an interactive show with you guys, the viewers that love to talk Browns football. I know Brown's Twitter has went through basically a rampage the last 2 weeks. And you know what? Look out for each other. And Clarence, you always have the best line for that. So why don't you leave this show with the line, the go-to line you like to go to that I really respect about you, the person.
Well, it's just how I am, man. Just, when you're out there, you never know what somebody else is going through at all. So just be kind to one another, man. Just be kind. That's it. There's enough problems going on in this world. You jump on Brown's Twitter, there's a fight every damn day. I see some nasty stuff on there between people that say they're Browns fans, and I'm like, come on, man. Like this, you wouldn't walk up to somebody's face and say this. So don't bring it over here. Don't put it online. Just be kind to one another. Just be kind.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
I see a lot of crap out there. Male fans jumping all over female fans. You need to cut that shit out. It's ridiculous.
Stupid.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Leave people alone. Let them fan. Let them have a good time. Because you know what? We're all wrong. We're all wrong.
Right.
We all make mistakes. We all make bad predictions, sure to go wrong. And we all have our hopes and dreams. And the best thing we can do that's ever going to bring us all together is be in downtown Cleveland after winning a Super Bowl championship, standing there in February, freezing our ass off together.
That's right. Everybody will be happy at that point. I promise you. I promise you. I was downtown for the Cavs parade. The Cavs won everything. It's love. It was nothing but love.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Nothing but love.
I mean, we won't talk about there was a shooting outside the casino. I was already down at the RTA at Tower City. So,
yeah. That was post parade. That was a crazy day as well.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with all the love that was going on that day. It was a special day. I was down there with my family, and I'll never forget it. And I'm so thankful to the 2016 Cavaliers.
That's right. So let's see if the 2024 Cleveland Browns can give us those kind of feelings again.
Yes,
I
agree.
I'm hoping. Well, y'all know what time it is. In the words of the greatest run game and tight ends coach coordinator in the history of the North Carolina Tar Heels, Freddie J. Kitchens.
Oh, hell no.
Y'all don't wear brown and orange. You don't matter. Peace, y'all. We love y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
Take care. Go Browns. Have a great week.